we're gonna go call the Wayne Township Board of Trustees meeting to order at 7:03. I'd like to welcome everyone. We got some scouts here, Ben and Jacob with Mr. Federley to earn a badge. So thank you very much for attending tonight's Wayne Township Board of Trustees meeting. Can I have a roll call, please?
Okay. Mr. Kaufman?
Here.
Mr. Jacobs?
Here.
Ms. Coleman?
Here.
You have a quorum?
Excellent. We're gonna have pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, approval of the minutes from the previous meeting from June 17th.
I'll make a motion to approve those meeting minutes from June 17th.
I shall second that.
All right. All in favor of approving the June 17th meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays, like sign, motion is carried.
Okay, do we have any additions, removals, or disclosures from the posted agenda?
The only thing that wasn't on the original agenda, but it is on the agenda we distributed tonight, is a public hearing for 7:30. But it has been advertised.
Very good, thank you very much. Moving forth, citizens' comments. Do we have any citizens' comments?
Did you guys sign in by chance? Okay.
Thank you very much. Moving forward, the road department report. Good evening, Scott.
Good evening, board. Well, it's been a busy couple of weeks. So we got on Monday, we got our asphalt project done on Red Oak and Waynesville. At the same time, we got in all the stone for the chip seal project on the same day. That was tricky, getting everything pushed in, and over, right under 1,000 tons of stone came in one day. But as of right now, that project, the asphalt project's done, the chip seal project's done, the sweeping was completed today. I look to see, well, depending on the weather, striping either tomorrow or Thursday, maybe Friday. I don't know whether they're gonna work on the 4th or not. But things moving along real well. Fillmore, from the pre-con meeting, you know, they were saying July, August. So quite frankly, I would like to see them the 3rd week of July because that's Fair Week. And usually it's a ghost town up here during Fair Week. So that would be a good week to get that done. But I haven't heard anything from them yet. So I have gotten some preliminary numbers for both the chip seal and the asphalt, and looks like we might have gone a little long on both projects. Part of the square yardage on the chip seal is from the bridge decks on the avenue. I counted them, the county didn't. So it wasn't reflected in there, and we went with their square yardage estimate for the bid. So we went a little long on that. And so when we're leveling, we're not paving, we're leveling, although it looks like it really looks good. You never know how much, from the naked eye, I mean, there's no way to calculate it, let me put it that way. There's just no way. I mean, you take a good swag at it, but when you start getting into intersections and through inside radiuses and curves, where you want to build that up a little bit, boy, it'll eat material in a hurry. And that's where the bulk of that asphalt tonnage. I mean, 34 tons over of what we anticipated. I think, you know, the square yards, part of it was the bridge decks, and then part of it was, I tend to be I go a little wider with my estimates on my road, and they go a little bit narrower. So here again, we went with the county estimate, they were narrower. If I had it to do over again, I would have just stood my ground and kept my estimate in there, and if we could have afforded it, we could have afforded it. It's not much money. I mean, we're only talking about rough figures, $7,000 over what we thought. So not huge. I'm not proud of it, but the silver lining to all of that is it's on the road. It's all in the road, and the motoring public's gonna be able to enjoy it, and it's made our roads safer. Other than that, I'll stay with my report as submitted. I don't have any updates on anything else just yet. And that's all I have, unless you guys have anything you wanna push on to me.
I just want to thank you and Chief Beckett for taking care of that tree when I was gone and all that stuff, so.
No worries.
Luckily it happened before the road was done, right?
Exactly, yes.
That spot, trees love to fall in that spot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Scott.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
Okay, so moving forward, we have the fire department report from Chief Beckett, getting a verbal tonight, so.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you. There is a mistake on the report I submitted to you. For the total calls for the year, I had 654 is the email I sent. It's actually 658. I was reviewing it before the meeting tonight. I noticed that addition error, so fiscal officer is not in my future. But you can see our runs are up. For June, the reason for that is that storm event that we had on the 18th. So we're at 65 EMS runs for the month of June, 83 fire runs, and about 30 of those are storm related, if not more. So a total of 148. And then down below, we're at 416 calls for the year, 242 fire runs, which gives us a total of 658, which is, halfway through the year, we're kind of tracking steadily going up, so we would anticipate that we will exceed our numbers from last year as well. This past Sunday, we were invited and attended the Waynesville Community Church. They had a lunch event with the kids and stuff, and we ate lunch with the parishioners there, and then we squirted the kids off with the deluge gun. That was the highlight of their day. I'd like to thank Mr. Camry and the road crew for their assistance again. He brought the backhoe down. We had a lot of sawing to do. That was a rather large tree that fell on Middletown, and I turned around and there was Scott, and he goes, "I'll be right back." And then backhoe 91 showed up and made short work of it. We had a run just the other night to the Spring Valley Reservoir, which turned out to be a run onto the river that brought in a lot of mutual aid and assistance. So ODNR was there, Clinton Warren, Spring Valley, Chief Campbell from Turtle Creek showed up. Those are kind of tank rescue guys that show up. They hear, "Ooh, water, we're coming." So Clinton Warren did bring our inflatable boat. So it turned out they were in the river. Some positive lessons learned, some other things that we're gonna address through policies and procedures moving forward. One thing I'm gonna bring up at the chief's meeting is that we have no way to talk to ODNR on our radios, because they have different radio systems. Which in today's day and age, and we have like the best radio system in Warren County that you can possibly have, and we can't talk to our emergency response. We can talk to someone on the moon, but, so I'm gonna bring that up and see, there's gotta be a way we can patch them in, so. 4th of July, we have the parade, and then, the fireworks that evening. So we're looking forward to that. And I believe that's all I have, unless anyone has any questions.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Moving forth, we have the zone department report. Good evening, Stacy.
Good evening. So it's a fairly busy month. There are quite a lot of zoning permits this month. I guess the most notable one, of course, is the permit for the self-storage buildings out at the corner of Township line and State Route 73. Those should be getting underway. We're anxious to get started. And just overall, some of these developments, I'll be going out to Bentley's Possum Resort to verify some of their landscaping with one of their employees in the next week or so. I don't know if I'd mentioned given them a little bit of an extension on the eastern boundary because of the development of the self-storage, adjacent to the Possum Resort. Let's see. And I worked on the zoning permit for Ohio Greenworks. They're gonna be getting started on building their accessory building barn on their site. He's underway right now as well. I just wanted to note a couple of upcoming hearings. I've got actually on State Route 73, there was a side yard, old State Route 73, a side yard variance was approved in June by the BZA. This month on the 17th, we have a variance hearing for Guard Road, and then also one in August scheduled already for Stockholm Court. And I've also been working on a couple of different violations with junk and with a business being run out of their accessory building. That's all I have.
Are we seeing any common variances where we want to make any changes? You think there's anything?
These ones are one's a side yard, because an existing house burned down and they want to put up a little bigger house. Another one is a variance for a barn that's out front, and we don't allow that anymore where it's at, and wants to put an addition on, and another one is a frontage variance. So they're just kind of all over the place right
Right,
now.
all right.
Yep, a little of everything.
Okay, thank you very much, Stacy, appreciate it. Moving forward, we have the administrative board. Good evening, Gus.
Good evening, board. ODOT, State Route 73 Bridge project needs to be reopened, so they are moving ahead and trying to, actually they're gonna start first of next week. They need to remove and replace the sections on the south side retaining wall, the parapet wall. Guess apparently when they did some cuts into it, they had to take some sonar and so forth, and they found out that a lot of that steel had fallen when they poured the concrete.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
they're going, I guess, back and forth. Ryan Oder was in touch with me on this, and last Friday, they met out here at the site, and they just said, it's gotta be fixed immediately. Drop whatever you're doing. ODOT's being pretty tough. So basically, it's going to go back to a phase 2 operation, which will be traffic control lights on the bridge. There'll be Jersey barriers down the center, that'll be coming in into this week, whatever. And they're given 30 days to get that torn out, rebar, steel put back in, and repoured. And Smith Road will be closed because they'll need to use it for site to work off of. So basically, just similar to what it was that last.
Right,
phase of
yeah.
it. I said, yeah, I told him, I said, yes, as soon as we can get it before soccer gets back in, that won't mess that avenue up anymore.
Right.
Plus, I'm also gonna get with Ray Cox and see if, make him aware of it to see if he can maybe push off or Cohen Avenue towards the 1st of August.
Yeah.
Give them a chance, hopefully, to get out of there, at least us see how the traffic is acting before they come in here.
Sure.
Shut everything down for a couple of days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. we're
That
good to
might
go.
be tricky.
Yeah, so, they're calling a short-term closure, they're not exactly sure, like I said, give them 30 days, but they have no idea how long
Right.
it's actually gonna take.
Residents are gonna be so happy.
Yeah.
You gotta break a few eggs to make an omelet.
That omelet was made, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I guess some of the steel's actually exposed now from the aggregate and so forth.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
They say it's just something that's not tolerable and they can't put up with, and,
I hope us taxpayers aren't paying for it again.
no, the contractor
Yeah.
will be,
Eating
he's
that.
not gonna be real happy, because I'm sure this is gonna be,
Pricey.
yeah, pretty pricey. Mount Valley Lighting, in accordance with our current street lighting agreement, in 2026, we have to incorporate our new rates, which they go up about 4%. So when I do the property tax assessments in August and September, then I will calculate those in. So actually, I don't want to mess our budget up, just leave it the way it is, but we will bring in a little bit more, but in our expenses next year will go up a little bit. So that's for 2 years. We're under a 5-year contract. The first year was set, it was the same as what it was previously. It goes up 4% for 2 years, and then after that, it goes up, I think, another 4% is what it does. So we will work with that. Recycle Rally, I got back in touch with Rumpke because we have not received anything yet. And they assured me that they've checked and it's still in the tire recycling division. So the main office that does the billing can't do anything until they reassess the amount and how they figured it and send it back to them. And they assured me that we're not gonna get charged for being late. So she says, each month, if you wanna call back just to verify where we're at, just go ahead, they won't charge us for it. Events, again, Independence Day activities for the July 4th, parade at noon, and fireworks at Bicentennial Park. Really, that's about it. The only thing I have is, if anybody was interested, I think I brought up a month or so ago about the Warren and Greene County Leadership Float, which is on Willamette River with soil and water. This year, they're gonna be floating from north up in Greene County down to River's Edge, yeah. So if anybody wants to sign up for that, you're more than welcome. I'm sure it'll be a nice cool day.
You funny, GI.
Anything else for
It
Gus?
doesn't move down. The air doesn't move down.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Edwards,
Yeah, thank you.
appreciate it. Moving forth, physical officer report, good evening, Scott.
Hey, good morning or good evening. So I met with the state auditor's office today, and looks like we're about ready to close out our audit, and didn't seem like there was any major issues. I know one is I was supposed to sign for our retention policy, and where I had to sign a document that said that I received it, so I think that'll be a management note, but she didn't act like there's any big issues. So she's gonna close it out, then it's gotta go to her boss and vacations and stuff, so she said probably by the end of July, first part of August, we should be officially closed, but, she said there's really nothing else to do unless her boss would happen to have any questions, so that was good news, to essentially move past that. So, we got, this week, they delivered to us from LCNB, the new agreement, for a depository agreement with the LCNB. And I'm bringing this to you guys because I know that it doesn't matter which way it is, but, you guys can go with them but I also know, and I double checked with People's Bank, and so LCNB tends to give us a lot of fee charges. And we're not talking big bucks, like $70 a month, and different kinds of fees, and if we have, and so I talked to their vice president to see if there was any way that they'd be willing to waive any of it, and so then they restructured it, and you can see this, and I can scan it to you guys so you can read a little bit easier than this. We've got some time before we gotta have it actually executed. So what they did is just took away our interest and will give us some kind of credit of $10 a month to reduce it from our average of $70 down to $60. Whereas, and I just feel like, I think I should be fair to bring up, People's Bank, because they won't charge us anything. Plus they're structured a little differently for their ICS, the sweep account that we use to get a little bit more money. So we typically, right now, we're getting right about 2.5% on that sweep account. They were offering 3.5%. Is it gonna mean the end of the world? Either way we go, no, but I just thought, probably.
They're not gonna charge us the monthly fee.
Right, they won't charge us fees and at a higher rate as well. And he said that's the best they could do. He said,
That's not like an intro offer, that's permanent?
oh, yeah, that's how it was even with us at the core one. It
Okay.
was, that's how I knew that they don't charge for anything for government. They just eat those charges for governments, agencies. So, I mean, they are local, I mean, they're local enough. I mean, they've got the bank up at the top of the hill, and then, their home base is in Marietta. So, but I'll scan these documents, you guys can review it, and then you guys can make a decision, down the road. I mean, I think we got until August or something, but they'd like to have that executed, if you guys decide to stay with them. But I just wanted to bring that out, that, I just think, contracts come up, sometimes it's good to,
Good to look at them.
to look and see if people are willing to shorten the process. So that, and then, I signed up, Sam and I, we'll be, planting a flag for Wayne Township at the Ohio State Fair. We'll be there for, Grand Champion, and we'll be handing out some of those plaques, for OTA. So it's
Very good.
exciting time. We did it last year, it was a lot of fun, hot, but I'm sure it'll be cool this year. Other than that, if you guys don't have anything, that's what I got.
Good. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Scott, appreciate it. So moving forth, we have old business, we have the cadet program bylaws. Pardon me?
Next
Yes,
meeting.
we're gonna table that. We have the fire department safer grant. We're going to apply for it.
Yeah, she'll probably, it's due Thursday, she's gonna send it in tomorrow, we're waiting on, some final NIFRS numbers. So I literally just emailed her, so. We'll apply for it and see what we do, and then if we're granted, we'll have that discussion.
Very good. Is there any other old business? Okay. So we're gonna skip on down, new business. Do we have any questions or concerns of the bills that were presented to us?
I have none.
So we need to make a motion to approve payment of bills presented.
I'll make a motion to approve bills as presented.
I'll second.
Go ahead.
I did.
Okay. Roll call vote, Ms. Colvin,
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
All right, this motion carried.
Okay, so we had resolution 2025-48, it's a resolution adopting the tax budget for the year 2026. We had our budget hearing at 6:30. Do we need to have any other discussion with this?
No.
Nope, okay. Make a motion to adopt resolution 2025-48.
I will second.
Okay. Roll call votes. Mr. Kaufman,
Yay.
Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
and Ms. Colvin?
Yes.
All right, this resolution is adopted this first day of July.
Okay, we're gonna skip resolution 2025-49. Is there any other new business? None. Any correspondence?
Yeah, I have, the quarterly Warren County Health Department, report. We also have a letter of thank you from the 2025 Corwin Tractor Show. Thank you for your sponsorship and participation. For the 25th Annual Corwin Tractor Show, God bless you, Gary and Kim Collins.
Farmers somewhere.
Any correspondence? Okay.
Okay. And we will wait till 7:30. If you haven't signed the sign-up sheet in the back, please do so. We would greatly appreciate it.
Mr. Kaufman, I did forget to add one thing on there, for I will be, for the next trustees meeting, I will be at the Ohio Fire Chiefs Conference in Columbus. So, either Lieutenant Patterson or Assistant Chief Walsh will be.
Thank you very much. Good.
Okay, we'll be back.
We need to take one of our, tax exempt forms but you also will need to download one from Columbus, the second one, because they do the city tax and the state tax. So, if you look it up, you can Google it, you can download it. You have those two, and you're gonna use the apartment card, the township card. That's the only,
room?
yeah. Or is it there?
Yeah, I think I already,
Are you feeling worried up?
I gotta look.
It's not,
You haven't paid for it yet, 'cause
You don't have the receipts?
they'll usually hold the room,
Yeah, there's a whole, and then I talked to them about the tax exempt.
right, and usually you gotta take the state tax,
Yeah.
and then you'll have to, like I said, down with the Columbus one,
Okay.
and then you'll get that off. But you'll also have to use, in order to get the Columbus one, you have to use the township credit card. That's their catch.
That's it.
Not that I didn't think you weren't, but just to let you know, that's, they do that to keep people from, well, here's my paper, and I'm gonna use my personal credit card, and here's my family.
Yeah, exactly, right?
So, that's what they're doing.
I did discuss that with Ellen, and she really wanted to come up as a high fire chief.
I bet she did.
Close the trustees meeting?
No, not yet.
Speaking of.
This is still gonna be one. They will do it, and then they use that. Yeah, correct.
You know.
How you been? All right.
Runs.
Good. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
Big, super.
Great park.
So he.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know where you're at. Ended up getting a lift for our Jeep at the top. So we got one of those, and I had to end up converting. So now I'm understanding what it works for JK.
Oh, should be ready.
and stuff. So I done converted.
It just radios an ideal, so we're only talking. So, long story short.
No, it's just a
So it's been back and forth.
So which worked. So
He's put up a hoist and line up the ceiling in the barn.
that's awesome. That's what I was wanting to do.
He has one from, for storage.
Yeah, that's perfect, yeah.
It hangs really well.
That's good. Do something to do worse.
I don't know.
I had a buddy
Long
who
story
actually
short.
tried to start a business called Door Dolly.
Oh.
And he was a jacket that's mounted on
The road super.
pins.
Yeah.
He had pins to hold the door. Oh, that'd be pretty good.
So the Wayne Township Board of Trustees shall come to order at 7:31 on July 1st, 2025, for a public hearing that was scheduled for 7:30 on July 1st, 25, for a site plan application. Stacy Loeing has a PowerPoint to share to explain the application and the reason for the hearing. The order of proceedings would be everyone has the right to speak either in support or opposition and ask questions. However, to ensure an orderly hearing, we ask that before speaking, you state your name and address for the record, and time limits for each speaker will be set at 5 minutes. So first we'll hear from the applicants, then the proponents, then opponents. The applicant will then be given the opportunity to address any concerns raised after all have spoken. And Stacy, you can go ahead and take over with your PowerPoint.
All right. So tonight we're hearing stage 2, which is what we call preliminary site plan, which is the second part out of 3 in a PUD rezoning. So remember, this was rezoned with a PUD overlay to allow the roofing business, and this stage is just for the site plan. Now, anything that you would approve tonight as part of the site plan and conditions, all of those have to be addressed, and then the final stage would come just to me, the zoning inspector, for basically certifying that they've met everything that you told them, and then, so there's no more public hearings for the 3rd stage. Just so everybody knows how that works. All right, so this is just the aerial view of the property, and I have one that we can zoom in on if we'd like to as well. So this review process for this stage 2 was, it was before the Warren Warren County Regional Planning Commission Executive Committee on March 27th. And then tonight, you're the decision-making body. This parcel ID is 0632100002, and it's at 8820 Bellbrook Road. It is 5.056 acres with a future land use of rural neighborhood. And just to recap from the PUD Stage 1, all those proposal documents that were part of that application carry on, and there were specific language in there about further development, no further development or buildings, and there was standards for employees, hours, the fact that they can't have any signage. So all of that carries forward as part of this approval process. So the RPC, Regional Planning Staff, had recommended approval, and then the Executive Committee recommended approval as well. They have, of course, conditions on their approval, which I addressed in my background report that you have a copy of, and on the proposed resolution. So I have made some recommended changes that we can talk through here tonight. And anything that you want to change that's on the resolution, we can edit as we go tonight if there's any changes. So why don't we, well, let me pull up the site plan first, and then we can talk about some of those. Hang on. Oh. My computer doesn't switch between PowerPoints. Sorry about that.
Is it the Exhibit A site plan? It's in our,
I don't know, it's not letting me switch.
Did you do the escape key or something? Get out?
It just never switches once I'm on. System. Here we go. This one. All right, we're getting there, sorry about that. Oh my God,
Here we go.
makes you just sweat. Working.
No pressure.
No pressure, it's here somewhere. All right, so I'll just leave it, the back handle of it, there's no changes. So basically this stage 2, if you remember from stage 1, that no new construction or buildings or development is allowed at all. It's exactly as is. But the only thing that changes is that up here on the right-of-way, the county required an extra 10 feet. They're in the midst right now, is signed off on a plat to increase the right-of-way on their side of the road by an additional 10 feet. That's not a physical change. The only physical changes are this driveway aprons. There's 2 of them. We require them to pave them until they get 25 feet out of the right-of-way. And then there was a requirement by the county to, by our zoning to enclose the dumpster, which is there on the corner. And then they were asked to show their parking, and they have these parking spaces marked out. However, it is gravel, so those lines aren't really gonna exist, nor there's those dimensions. And the only other addition to what's already existing is landscaping. Now, when we have, we applied the business standard to them, even though it's residential zoning. And so you see on this border here, this is a 50-foot landscaping border, which is our buffer yard D and our zoning. It fits on there, the buffer yard D. However, they cannot get that depth due to existing conditions in any of these other places. So they're proposing just some landscaping along there to help buffer, but of course, it is less depth than what we technically would require to buffer a business type use. So those are all the changes compared to what there is today. This notation right here says future office, but that is an existing building. That's just to convert the interior space. It's not any new building. Are there any questions about that?
No.
Okay, so I do have this language with these conditions, if you'd like me to go through that now, or
Go ahead.
you want to do that? Okay. All right, so we'll just go through, these are what regional planning had recommended for conditions, and I've gone through, if you're in the audience, you can see strikeouts or where I took out language, underlining is new language, and then red is just comments. Number one is just self-explanatory, everything that they've submitted that you have approved, and tonight's anything that's approved are conditions of approval. Number two, I just changed the wording to say compliance with Resolution 2025-15, which was the PUD Stage 1, and the PUD Stage 1 standards and conditions is approved by the Wayne Township trustees. And I just note there that the site is already developed, and I don't feel, I know in the first resolution we asked for a zoning permit. However, they're already fully operational. They had zoning permits for the new buildings that they put up over the last few years. There's nothing to give them a zoning permit for, so I removed that. And there was some language there about the Warren County subdivision standards, but this isn't a subdivision. Number three has to do with buffer yard D that I talked about. So I've rewritten that to recommend all existing trees identified on the site plan shall remain, and new landscaping as shown in the plan is to be planted by October 30th of 2025. And that language to have it planted by a certain date is to secure a certain time when it has to be in or it becomes a violation, rather than tying that landscaping to a zoning permit. Number four, this has been addressed, or the engineer's office did comment yesterday. They're a little bit late, but they said that they don't need a traffic impact analysis, and they don't need anything for stormwater or any type of review or concerns from the engineer's office. Number five is just telling them they have to pave those entrances, like I showed you, also by October 25th. Number six is just stating instead that they need a recorded right-of-way dedication plat prior to PUD Stage 3 for an additional 10 feet of right-of-way. Number seven has already been met with water and soil. Didn't have any concerns either because they're not developing the site. And number eight, this is language tying the approvals from the fire chief to PUD Stage 3 as well. And number nine were all conditions that need to be met in order to come here tonight. except for the lighting plan, and the applicant does not have any commercial lighting. The lights that they did have were removed, and they don't, I mean, the commercial lighting they had was removed. And so, I did not require him to bring forth a lighting plan as part of the approval. There's still time for that if you disagree. That could be required for PV stage 3, but they're not putting any lighting. So, I just exempted them kind of from that for this stage anyways. And that's all the conditions. Anything I have, unless you have questions or want to review anything.
I do not right now. Okay, so first off, we're going to allow those in, yeah, we're gonna allow the applicant to step forward. Then make any comments, please state your name, your address for us, please.
Ryan Danke, 5648 Chenoweth Road, Waynesville, Ohio. The only comment that I had that I want to make, I have some different plans written up here that I wanted to propose to you guys or to the community, whoever wants their input on it. But the way that you guys have it designed up right now, you want us to put all the shrubbery and stuff on the side, which is the property we already own, which I feel like it's kind of silly to block off from our own property. I understand that the concern was one day that we may not own it, but Anthony just built a brand new house back there. We have zero intentions of selling, so I'm so
Is
sorry.
there anybody in the public that wants to look at it?
Yeah, I'll pass one back here. So, the only changes that I was recommending was to put the buffer on the front of the property instead of on the sides, because any problems or issues that the community is gonna have from seeing what little traffic comes in there, I would imagine they probably would not wanna see it from the home. So switching over and moving the shrubbery to the front, eliminating halfway back and then the rear, because again, we already own that property. So it's just,
You told me you guys have something different, I haven't seen it yet.
this is just a proposal that, any concerns that anybody would have, so you see this is the front of the road, so, did you have questions or?
No,
Okay.
not right now.
Okay, so,
So
Do you have this on your phone?
you're basically wanting to take those Norway spruces and boxwoods that were in the back section, that's what you're wanting to keep up towards the front, Norway spruces and
yes,
boxwoods.
basically move everything up towards the front. These plans are what was required per the zoning, but I just wanted to put this proposal in front of, our neighbors and you guys, if you would rather see this. So
Is there power lines across the front?
they're on the other side of the road.
Okay.
There is one power line that comes like across to give power to the house, but it's,
I think it's just secondary lines, it's not that big a deal.
yeah. So
I should have asked you.
It's all right. You're good.
that's about the only thing I really had. I mean, I met with the fire chief. We got all the fire extinguishers, everything in place. We just got to set up the final inspection. But yeah, I'm open to any questions if you guys have any for me.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Next, we'll hear from the proponents, those in favor. Would anyone like to step forward? Your proponent? Hearing none. Next will be then, we'll have the opponents. Step forward. Any opponents? Okay. Since there was none that spoke, I don't think we need to come back up and address any concerns, obviously, so.
I just got one question. So, you said, was the only reason just because, you guys were taking your vegetation and moving out to the front, right?
Yeah.
So that was just your main thing, is just so you could open it up in the back?
Yes.
I would assume so you could be able to see through to see anything, I would
Yes.
imagine, right?
Yeah. Again, we own the property behind it.
Basically, there was only vegetation by right through there.
Yeah, correct.
Sliding it up, taking the emeralds.
Why is that zone D only, like, partway?
I'm sorry.
Why was that, buffer zone D only towards the back and not really towards the front?
Well, because the front is all a residential use, you're buffering a house then from the adjacent property, not the business. Does that make sense? So remember that the, property remains residential also, and so the line was drawn to buffer all of the commercial use, see, from the gravel all the way back. And I cannot, as zoning, require him to bring in a plan that shows landscape in the front because the zoning doesn't, require front buffering, so that's why you have.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, if zoning can't require it, then can a trustee require it?
He's offering
Offering,
that,
but
and you
yes.
agree, if
That's
it
the
goes
same
on,
thing.
if it goes on the plan, that becomes under condition one, all plans and proposals
Yeah.
of the applicant are conditions of approval.
Okay.
So,
Have you had any residential complaints about the front view or anything that you know of?
We have not had any, no. I mean, nobody's openly spoke to us about it.
I've had one call, people concerned and there's a party or something, I think you had like a party or something, and I just try to explain that they get both uses, they get the business as it's outlined, and then they also can use this residentially as well, so.
Are you wanting that privacy on the front side?
I mean, again, I kind of put that to the community to decide. I mean, we're here to make, whoever happy. If they want it, yes. If not, no. If you want it like that, keep it like that.
I don't have any issue with putting it in the front and moving it over.
I see from your point of view that being able to see it from your own property is almost better because you can keep an eye on it. If something, somebody's ripping something off or whatever's happening, you can have a line of sight. You wouldn't have a line of sight.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I live behind,
Right.
and it is nice for me to be able to look up there and see. So blocking that off, that's really gonna do nothing for anyone and only block my view. So that's just, on our end, it's like, why, so.
Can we put a statement in there that if ever the parcel ending in 0030 was to be sold, that they would have to then go back in and add buffering to the backside?
Yeah, as long as I think if we quantify in case the zoning changes, and which boundary, which side. And if we're gonna move trees from here, from the northern boundary, you're gonna take, a certain number out and put them in the front. I'd like to quantify how many that is, or
Okay.
counting from the plan he has there.
This plan is the same as this. It's just with the move, and I believe the count is all on there.
And try to get an idea as to where this one tree is on this map.
Do you have a PDF that you can email me with then?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, if that is the same. So those two would be-
I have a question. Do I need to come up there, or?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine, I'll come up. So
Please state your name first.
my name's Anthony Payton, I live at 9,000 Bellbrook Road, I live right behind the property. So if we put a statement in that says if we ever sell that property, then we would have to put the landscaping in, are we for sure gonna have to do something on the front too?
Well, you'd already have the front done. If we approve that tonight, you'd have to do that then by October, so they'd be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just curious though, if we put that statement in, if that changed anything about the front area, because I don't
think you're gonna go and move trees out of the front and physically take them and put them in the back once they're there, right? So,
yes, I understand. What I'm asking though is, if we put that language in that we're not gonna put anything in on that north side right now, but if we ever sell that parcel, then we will, can we leave the front the way it is now, if we wanted to? I know we've actually always said we kinda wanted to put something up there, but that's a lot of trees.
I get, so basically, just to clarify, you're wanting us to, I know what you're saying, but I'm gonna make it blunt for the public. You want us to put in language that if the township trustees decide to put that we wanna require 25 trees on the north side to be added once the parcel ending in 0030 was to change hands, plus we're going to add in, where's the other, whatever number, 33 emerald green arborvitae that we just eliminate and not even require you to put these trees in the front.
Yeah, basically, like, let's just say we left the property as it is right now, but one day we sold that parcel, then we would, in the language, we would have to go and put all those trees in. I'm just asking, do we really have to do anything in the, I guess that would be the west
That's,
side?
yeah, that's for the trustees, I mean, we can consider that.
I mean, I'm just asking, because really, even if we did put some up there, because I think me and Ryan have always said we'd like to put something up front there, does it really need to be that many? Can we just choose what we want or do nothing at all, as long as we're in agreement that if that parcel gets sold, we'll put whatever you guys want up there?
I think we're more talking about your parcel where you live is ever sold, and you don't live there, but you're still operating the business out of that 5-acre
Okay,
parcel.
so right now it's in 2 parcels over there, that's why I'm asking. I'm talking about the one that butts up to the business. Because the one that butts up to the business is a property me and him own together, and then my house is a separate.
But that's what I'm saying, like parcel, if you were to sell parcel 0030,
Okay, that's not mine, right?
says Miami Valley Prime.
Okay, yes, that's
Yeah,
ours
let me
together.
pull up the aerial so you
Yeah.
can see what I'm talking about. He
So
doesn't-
I
he
believe that's
doesn't
where you
right-
live.
He doesn't live next to it.
No, I don't live in that parcel. I live in the next, so we,
Your parcel isn't on
there
this
you go.
map.
See the one with the
Yes.
little square?
This
That's mine.
flag lot is
Okay.
his.
So,
There's
so
all
the
this
one,
land
yes.
in between.
So if we sold the bigger one,
Okay.
then we
one
would
with
have to
the
come back and put everything in you guys are requiring.
That's what is being discussed.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then my question was just, if we don't, do we need to do anything though, until that is sold or not sold, is what I'm asking.
Well, the way that I stand right now is I'm not really personally so concerned about the blues or the Norway spruces and the boxwoods on the front, on the roadside. Okay, this is the way I stand. This is not the way that they are. I do like the proposal of the Norway spruces and the boxwoods up against this section.
Yeah.
Okay, I would,
Yeah.
for me personally, I would still say that.
Okay.
And then the emerald arborvitaes that are down here, showing that, that's the way I'm personally thinking.
Okay.
So if we, yeah, those gotta stay, in my opinion, that's gotta stay, that's gotta stay. I'm in,
Here's the new one.
pardon me?
I pulled the new
Oh,
one
I'm
on
sorry.
your screens.
So I'm okay with eliminating that requirement of road frontage, Norway spruces and boxwoods. Not to say we're negotiating or anything, but there does need to be in the language that if parcel ending in 0030 was to ever change hands, become a subdivision.
Okay.
I mean, it could, I don't care what you, I mean, whatever happens to it, if it does change hands, then at that point,
It needs the buffer.
it needs to have a
Yeah,
buffer.
and I get
That's a
that.
big thing.
Okay. All right, I appreciate it.
So does the total trees change?
Pardon me?
Does it change with the front and back side, or is it still the same number? Is it still the same number total?
I don't think it's the same number because you're eliminating essentially all the arborvitaes on the rear of the property.
I'm just looking at the trees.
Oh, the
That's all down, something that.
There's 16 Norway spruces, I didn't count the boxwoods.
Buffer yard D is a 50-foot line with one evergreen and one shrub.
So I got
So you
16.
get 32 trees, right? Is that what we had on the main one?
Yeah, Stacy, can you flip back to the one that you had in your presentation?
You can at least find
There would need to be 25 added. Yep. Plus the 33. 34.
So you got 34 into one, and you got 36 on the other, right? Or that's what it's saying.
Yeah. they're not gonna have to do that, so that's gonna, but they are still gonna have to do that. And then they're gonna, if they ever change hands, then they're gonna have to add 30 or 25 more emerald spruces, or I'm sorry, Norway spruces. They'd have to have another 25 Norway spruces in addition to what's that, plus the 33 arborvitaes. To where basically that whole boundary is buffered with some greenery.
Okay.
That's gonna be required by October 25th. I mean, just what are the date that Stacy has, and I support that personally. That there,
Do you want me to email you this, resolution to type it on, or do you want me to? Yeah. Email it to you? Or I'm just asking. I can,
well, we're not done discussing
I know.
that, so.
I agree, so keeping, so just this stuff here, this stuff here, this stuff here. Not the front required, and then if that parcel ever changes hands,
So there's
can't we
6,
just say they have to do buffer D back here? Maybe we just- We don't have to quite. say
continue
the
on
number.
with, well, you don't, I'm not saying, you don't have to follow that. I would continue on with the pattern personally.
You just don't need to have a date, so you're gonna say upon this property where there may be, then you have to understand that, that buffer D has to be completed
Right.
within X amount of days from the sale, date of sale. Right, that's what I would think.
Yep.
So basically, we're approving the adjustment of the trees forward towards the road, and then they're leaving the buffer D back here. And
Well,
upon any kind of
Right.
sale of the adjacent property, that buffer D will need to be completed by
right.
whoever the property owner would be at that time, if it's them or somebody else. Because they could technically sell it, and then somebody else could have it. But anyway, either way, that property owner would have to fill it out if that sells next door. Right? Am I-
Yep.
Yep.
Because it goes with the property, it doesn't go with them.
Correct. Okay.
You get all that, Stacy?
Okay, so let's look at your,
Gets a little
resolution.
technical.
All of this, and new landscaping on shed number plan. So we just have to change the plan,
Yeah,
number 3.
Revised for the trustees.
Yeah.
all right, so all existing trees identified on the site plan shall remain. And so now we're gonna say, new landscaping. You know, I'll say it. About on the, which start with, on the front yard, on the east or south,
It's the north.
which boundary you wanna start with,
whatever works easier for you. I mean,
so you're doing front yard trees?
no,
No.
No,
No.
they're not required.
Okay, so on the northern boundary.
Northern 50-foot buffer yard D.
For the front half of it,
so
basically.
it'll be 16, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Not quite half.
So 16 Norway spruces. It's got 17. It'll be 16 Norway spruces. You have 17 on your thing,
17?
We count.
but we count 16.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
We'll go to 16.
And then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 16 wintergreen boxwoods at 10-foot spacing.
it's already,
That didn't change
so
from
these
one year.
16 Norway and wintergreen boxwood are going to be planted when?
By the,
Oh, by- they're
October
still-
25th,
okay.
yeah,
Okay, this is all by October.
yeah. And that's on the, it's on the western side of the northern portion of the person.
Can I just look at this plan while I have that up? That'll help. I don't have two screens, so I can't. Okay, oh, so these ones are going to. So these are both,
I would say.
okay, I'm just gonna say all new landscaping shown on the southern boundary shall be planted October 30th.
Yes.
If you guys wanna throw some out front, you can, but we're not requiring.
Okay.
Yeah. What they have.
Fill that in. That's it. That's not required.
This is Stacy. Where she got it.
You good with that? Just read it, make sure.
Okay.
So you're good with this? This is not required, needed. So this continues to get pulled out. 33 over by this going in. This is the same. Actually,
On the southern boundary down all the way.
southern boundaries.
Oh,
Perfect. Continue.
Okay.
Yep, go perfect.
Thank you.
Yep. Appreciate it.
Just for clarity, for me, and
Yep.
for Boy Scouts here, can you tell us what you decided?
Yeah, so
Yes.
We're getting there.
we're gonna have it typed up here for you.
Okay.
Correct.
Well, we could go back to the plat and just say,
Yeah.
these are
We will.
moving there, and we're not putting these in
Yeah.
right now, but we might in the future.
It's kind of a work session right now.
Yeah?
I just wanted
And then,
a condition.
yeah, and then we still need the section about if that other pit sells.
Can somebody want to
Well-
give me the first name, do you know where they're,
06,
for the one next to you?
yep, 06-321-00030.
Oh, it's on there. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, sorry.
So you got 06321
Yep.
00030. Correct.
0030. Yep, I got it. Sorry. Can I say solar? Do you want to say future?
Transfer.
Is solar future or something. Then
I
how
had
we
before,
decided.
do you want it to be developed as well? He did decide to put a subdivision in there.
I mean, my plan is to build on that parcel, in which case we're gonna split off, just like we did with Anthony, so to say transferred, I mean, if it transfers in my name, I'm still wouldn't, I mean, does that make a difference?
To a party outside of the owners of. I don't know how to say it. I know.
It's gonna be a sale, it's not a transfer, like a deed
Yeah.
transfer is different than a sale.
Exactly. I'd say sold and just remove transferred, because if it's transferred into my name, I'm not just gonna give the property away to some random person, so helping to sell it, so. If-
It's sold to an outside party or something like that, I think it covers it. doesn't it?
Pleasure. Yeah, Andy has a question.
I thought there was something there with,
The buffer yard, buffer yard.
Wait,
would
see.
have to add it on the remainder of the
Understood.
east floor.
Okay, so what else? What are you doing now? If I can borrow one of your, we'll just use the one.
Remainder of the building.
Just so I can explain this to them. So, sorry. So, what was initially proposed, solving that,
I know, but
is
that
that
would be.
this buffer was proposed by our attorney, along with this buffer. We then requested about from this point on around to have this doorway spruce boxwood mixture to be carried from the back half of the acre or to the lot, which is the north side. Then what was also on our proposal was 33 emerald green arborvitae. that
I'd say,
was this buffer.
so you're looking at,
what
so
we
basically,
agreed
it's
upon
adjacent property,
is
PFD, so
and they
different
proposed
party, buffer yard.
putting this buffer, along
Be
with this buffer,
required.
leaving this. We settled on
I'm gonna say it's a
not
width.
requiring them to have this buffer.
You wanna say to be planted. you
They
wanna
do
say
have to have this buffer, they do have to have this buffer,
appropriate buffer.
and they have to have this
Then
buffer.
for that.
But upon sale of this parcel, so what it means
Corrected
is
in
this
real time.
parcel goes to another person, it
Pretty
can be
much.
developed later. Once sale
So
of
maybe
this
subject
parcel
to.
in the future, then this
If you want to
50
discuss
yard
about
buffer
subject
has
to
to
the
be
building proximity or something. like
followed
that.
back through this corner along with the 33 arborvitae that were proposed by the zone.
From your original plat.
From our original.
Okay.
Yes. They would have to fill the original.
I think it's
Right,
supposed to
so they're not
be-
putting these,
Nope.
they're gonna put
Yep.
these in, they're basically moving these up here.
Correct.
And, but then if this sells, they have to put these
Yes.
back in, and they have to put these back here.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any questions?
You can always set, put on
Hi, I'm Brett.
current, per zoning code, whatever standard is that time.
Cool. Thank you. No problem. Thank you. I'll give this back to you.
You said, you said per zoning
Like
code.
the two, but,
Wayne Township zoning code, instead of trying to get too detailed about it.
well, I just basically said there that they have to provide it, even though this 50 feet is not available on the eastern boundary.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right,
All right.
I'm good with that.
Everybody good?
Yeah, we know.
Okay.
This time we know what we.
All right, so then I added 8, you have to submit a revised site plan within 2 weeks of its decision.
Okay.
Fixing all this, you'll submit me a new one.
Okay, do you want me to take that one?
You can,
Or do you?
yeah, you can take it, because I have an email version. I'll get 2 new versions.
Yeah.
Let me,
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna, it is 8:12, I'm gonna make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Hey, all in favor of closing the hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays, like sign, motion carried.
Okay, so we are back into our general Wayne Township Board of Trustees meeting. So we are going to bring forth to the board Resolution 2025-49, resolution adopting a PUD Stage 2 preliminary site plan for 8820 Bellrock Road, parcel ID number 0632100002 for Miami Valley Prime, with the modifications that we came up with in the hearings, PUD Stage 2 hearing. So do I have a motion to adopt resolution 2025-49?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 25-49 with the modifications.
I'll second that.
All right, roll call vote. Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
Ms. Colvin,
Yes,
Mr. Kaufman,
Yes.
this resolution's passed this first day of July.
Okay. We are at the point of elected officials' comments. Any comments?
I just wish everybody a happy 4th of July and be safe out there. And as well, that's it.
Just a reminder, we do have our community's festivities starting Friday with the parade downtown.
Thanks, sir.
And then we got lots of other things going on throughout the rest of the afternoon and evening. We've got band, we've got obviously fireworks, vendors up at the school, so
And
be
there's
safe, have fun.
somebody's birthday is today.
Yes, happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. So, any other elected official comments? Hearing none, no work session. Do want to go into executive session regarding personnel matters with ORC 121.22 G1 to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual unless the public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual requests a public hearing. If a public body holds an executive session pursuant to Division G1 of the section, the motion and vote to hold that executive session shall state which one or more of the approved purposes listed in Division G1. This section are the purposes for which the executive session is to be held, but need not to include the name of any person. So we are going in for, what are we, anything particular?
Just the highlight part.
Just the highlight, okay. Yep. So I make a motion to go into executive session. It is 8:15.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call vote, Ms. Colvin,
Yes.
Mr. Kaufman,
Yes.
and Mr. Jacobs.
Yes.
All right.
Just to explain things, the board can go into a private meeting with just certain people. It'll be with the chief, it'll be with the board of trustees, and it'll be with Mr. Edwards, at which point we discuss things. No decisions can be made. We'll come back out of executive session and we'll wrap it up here in this room at some point. There is no time limit. You can stay if you'd like. You're welcome to leave though, and we appreciate your attendance.
Thank you.
Thank you. Here we are back in regular session at 9:03. We came out of executive session at 9:02. Myself, Mr. Kaufman, made the motion. Ms. Colvin seconded. All were in favor. So here we are. It is 9:03. No other discussion. We're good.
Yep.
Make a motion, 9:04 it is, and make a motion to adjourn from tonight's meeting. Do I have a second?
I shall second.
All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
No nays, like sign, motion's carried.
You know.